Hello, my friends. Welcome to the show, The Melting Pat. How are you? My name is Pat. Today, we'll give Jerome the day off. We're going to abbreviate this episode because, old Pat's got a frog in his throat. So, we had a couple of things planned for this episode. And then, you wake up with a sore throat and a little tickle there, a little cough there, and you decide, hey, we got to shorten it. So, that's what we're going to do. We're going to power through. Pat, don't you have backup episodes? Yeah, but I'm going to need those. So, unfortunately, you have to get, 80% Pat instead of 100%. So I'm sorry about that. But if you're new to the show, this is a bad one to come in on. But, sometimes that happens. Sometimes that happens in life. You don't feel well. You got to power through and do the thing. And then, we don't take sick days around here. But anyway, I used to host 4 radio shows: music, sports, pro wrestling, and pop culture / general chatter. And the Melting Pat is a mashed up. I mashed all those together into one show to create the Melting Pat. And here we are. Here we are a decade later of the podcast after 200 live radio shows of this. And it's weird. So this comes out Saturday the 20th. And right in the 19th. No, wait. When did we first do the show? Hold on. Now I got to look this up. Now I'm confused. Hold on. I should not have doubted myself. It was September 19th, 2015, the first episode of this show. And here we are, more than a decade later, which is insane. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. It's crazy, though. And thank you for being here. For however long you've jumped in, I appreciate you being here. So we'll talk about that in a moment or several moments, I suppose. And I want you to guess. With all the pausing I'm going to have to do to hack up whatever this is, I want you to guess how long it's going to take me to record this show versus how long it actually is. Let me know. TheMeltingPat.com. There's a contact page. Make your guesses. I'll send you a sticker in a card with a handwritten love note. Okay? All right. Thank you very much. We're not doing the song today. We had a good one ready, and then I decided that we're not going to do it because I don't feel right trying to do a mouth riff right now. So we're going to just handle our business and talk about the weekend we had, because we were kid-free and we did some stuff and we had a good time. Then we'll talk about a decade of the show and then maybe the Phillies. We shall see. But anyway, thank you for being here. If this is your first or 549th episode or somewhere in between, thank you very much. You are the reason I keep doing this. Actually, no, Pat, that's not even true. You're right. It's not. I do it for me. And the fact that you're here is a nice bonus. So there you go. Thanks for sticking with me. I appreciate all the love. Thank you. And if you want to send me some tea or some lozenges or some Robitussin, that would be great. Let me know. All right? You don't have to do that. But how sick would that be, though, if that worked? Because one time on my live show, I used to do the radio show in my mom's attic, and it started in June 2011. And so it was hot, right? There was no AC up there. It was hot. And my mom and my brother would listen from the first floor of the house. So I'd be in the attic, they'd be on the first floor. And they would listen to the show and chat along and stuff. And during a break, I was like, man, I am thirsty as hell. I need a drink. And 2 minutes later, my brother Bill comes up the stairs with a jug, used to be Gatorade, filled with H2O. And I was like, holy crap, thank you. So imagine if that worked, if I said, hey, can someone send me Robitussin or some lozenges, some zinc, I guess, or whatever you use to get rid of a cough. Imagine that worked. That would be so sick. Anyway, it's weird. I feel okay. Like the cough is bothersome, and we're going to keep pausing so we don't have to edit them out. But I feel fine. My head hurts a little bit, but that's been a condition. That's been a thing since like 2021. So yeah, I got COVID and I have headaches every day. So the cough is just bothersome at this point. So just sitting there, just sitting right in there. Oh man. But anyway, Pat, are you going to do the show? I am. Sorry for clapping so loudly. We are, yes. So, we had a kid-free weekend this past weekend, and we have not had that. I mean, we went to WrestleMania. We had people here to watch the boy a couple years ago. But this was the first time that we were here without the kiddo, and he's 4. So, kind of a big deal. He stayed at his aunt and uncle's house. Thank you to Jen and her crew for taking the boy. He had some pretty cool adventures. He was telling us all about it. They kept him busy, so it's really cool. So yeah, they went to playgrounds and out to eat and all this other stuff. They went to a park. They had a great time. So thank you very much again to Jen and her crew for taking the boy for the weekend because we had stuff going on. So the plan was, so our anniversary, by the way, was September 8th, 13 years married, me and my smoking hot wife. And the plan was, so we had tickets to this movie premiere, The Final Boy, and that was on Saturday. And so our thing was, okay, we'll go out to dinner, we'll drop him off, go to dinner Friday. She had a dog walk. I was going to do stuff for the show or stream on Twitch. And then Saturday, movie premiere. Sunday, my buddy Phil and I came over. Let me try that again. My dear friend Phil came over, and we watched the Phillies game and did the 999 challenge. And so that was those were the plans for the weekend. So Friday, we drop him off. We hang out for a little bit, and we look at the time like, okay, well, because we had stopped on the way to get him a little bit of food just in case. And so I got some snack wraps, and that was good. And then we stopped and got some ice cream. It was delicious. Got a Reese's Pieces sundae, as I do, from the place, which is soft serve, hot fudge, peanut butter, and Reese's Pieces. Incredible. Love it. So we did that. I know earlier in the day we were talking about it, like, oh, we were going to go out. And then Jill just goes, hey, do you mind if we just do like Wawa or something else like that? I don't really feel like getting dressed to go somewhere. And I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. So that was the plan. And then we get the ice cream, and she had to go do a thing. So she's like, all right, I'll just hit a drive-thru on my way back. And then in the meantime, I finished putting the show together, and I did a quick stream on Twitch of Celebrity Deathmatch. It was really fun. There was a game for PS2, Celebrity Deathmatch. I didn't stream episodes of the show, but it was fun. We had a couple people chatting. It was a good time. So yeah, she hit a drive-thru on the way home. We just hung out in the silence, and then we watched a week's worth of Jeopardy because we're old, and I DVR Jeopardy, and yeah, that's what we did. So then, yeah, we watched Jeopardy and had our food, and then just went to bed without having to worry about getting up or getting up in the night or getting up at like 7 a.m. when he's ready to get up. So Saturday, we're getting ready. We did the thing. We had a premiere. My wife was an extra in the movie The Final Boy, and if you remember, a year ago, I had Ian Liberator on the show. I remember he said, when I asked him how to pronounce his name, as long as you don't say Liberatore. And I really wanted to say it, just to mess with him. But I didn't do it, except right there. Anyway, so he wrote and directed this movie, The Final Boy, an LGBTQ horror film. We talked about it a little bit when he was on, and I'd never met him in person, so I got to go meet him, and I'd never been to a movie premiere either, so that was really fun. And fittingly, the theater was on Gay Street. And I just thought that was perfect for the evening. Again, the production company is called Moving Forward Films. And so it's LGBTQ plus stories because representation matters. And I just thought that was funny. And first of all, I was looking forward to the movie because my smoking hot wife had told me about it, about her time on set. And Ian had talked to me about it, about what kind of a ride we were going to go on, the kind of cinematic adventure we were going to about to embark on. And so it was. I was looking forward to it. I'm not a huge horror fan, but this movie is fantastic, and I believe it comes out on. Oh, damn it, Ian! If you're listening, when does the movie come out? I think it's Halloween. I think he told me Halloween, or the poster says Halloween. So whenever you can see this movie, I recommend it. It had suspense. It had drama. It had romance. It had comedy, a lot more comedy than I was expecting, and that's a good thing for me because if I can laugh, I'm ready to go. We're in, and everybody was fantastic. Everybody crushed their roles, and so we're all kind of milling about in the lobby of the theater, and I'm looking around, and I wore a shirt and tie, and the missus wore a very nice dress. So I'm looking around, all these other people are really decked out. I'm like, oh, they must be in the movie. And Jill's like, oh, yeah, that guy is there, and that guy, and that guy, and this guy. So she recognized a few people, like, from her time on set. And I was like, okay, all these people who are dressed to the nines, as they say, they must all be in the movie. And so the movie ends, everybody claps, yeah. And so Ian gets up and goes, all right, everybody, cast and crew want to come down and answer some questions and talk to the people. And all the people who were decked out in the lobby, they all file down and make their way down to the stage floor there. And I'm like, yeah, I figured all the people who were dressed fancier than I was like, oh, they must be in the movie. It's great. So, and then we went to the after party, and I thought about doing like a review of the movie, but then that would have required taking notes while watching the movie, and I just wanted to be in the moment and enjoy the movie, which I did. And so, unfortunately for the show, that means that you don't get like a full spoiler-free review of any kind. So sorry about that. My memory's not that good to remember all this stuff, and I did not write it down on the way home. So sorry about that. My bad, Ian. I will say, though, this movie, even if you don't love horror films, and I'm not a huge, like I said, not a huge horror fan, this movie was fantastic. I loved it, and I can't wait to watch it again. So let me know. Ian, let me know. When's the movie come out? When can I buy it and watch it and add it to my list of movies to watch in the fall every year? When can I do that? Tomorrow? No, not tomorrow. Okay, a month from now? All right, sounds good, buddy. Thank you. Like he's in the room with me. And so then we went to the after party, which was, hors d'oeuvres and drinks and all that, just hanging out. And so we sit down, and two people sit across from us, and it was one of the guys in the movie. He sat across from us, and he'd been in a couple other things that we had seen of that Ian had made. And so we sit down and talk to this guy. We're just, he and his wife, and we're just having a conversation. He's just telling stories. They're telling us stories. We're just having a conversation. I chugged 3 beers, which was a bad move. But as my wife says, I get more talkative when I start drinking. And so chugging them was a bad move because I was starving. And that was not a good, I felt okay, right? But I don't drink that often. And I don't know why I felt the need to chug them. I don't know why I did that. I didn't have a ton of food in me. And so that's always a bad plan. But it was fine. It ended up being okay. So we're talking to these people, and said he wanted to come on the show. And I was like, yeah, let's talk some more stuff. Let's tell some more stories. Let's talk about, you have led an interesting life. Let's chat. And he goes, oh, where do you live? So I told him. He goes, all right, I'll be there. I'll come down. I'm like, wait a minute. You want to come to my dank basement and do a thing? He goes, oh, I've recorded in worse. So I don't know. I guess at some point in the next 2 months, I'm going to have to really clean this room and make space for another human being, another adult, I guess. And so that's going to be interesting. Or we'll do it in the living room. I don't know. We have time to figure that out. And so then I was chatting with some other people, and we were just striking up a conversation of people in the movie. And someone who had been in the scene with Jill recognized her and was like, hey, so we got talking to him, and he was really cool. His name was, and he was talking about all the voice acting work that he's gotten since this movie. So that's fantastic. And then one of the other actors, his name was, he came over, we started talking. I started talking shop about the job there, because sometimes conversations go to real places. And I don't do it on the show because I want the show to be more entertaining than that. But in real life, I will talk about my job. I will talk shop. It's no problem. Especially because really my goal is to clear up any misconceptions about what I do and the agency for which I work. There you go. How's that? So we had a fun conversation. And then the plan was like, hey, I need to go. Like, the after party was over. We're getting kicked out. They were trying to close up. So we were trying to get out of there. And the plan for everybody else was we're going to go down to this other bar or distillery or whatever, tap room. And I looked at Jill. I said, I need food. Even right now, I also need food. And she's like, all right, let's go to wherever they're going. Let's see if there's food. So we get there. They don't serve food. Okay. Doesn't help me. Sorry, guys. See you later. So we try another place, and they have a food menu. And it's like 10:45 maybe. And so we go in there, and they're like, oh, the kitchen closed at 10. And I'm like, kitchen closed at 10? Oh, damn it. Where are we going to find food? So we just wander up this like main street in this little town, and we find a place called Molly McGuire's. And so we're like, all right. She's like, this looks like a, regular bar, so they should have food. So we go in there, and she asks the bartender, the barkeep, the dude back there, like, hey, are you still serving food? Do you have a menu? So he shows us a menu, and we get, I got chicken tenders and fries, and she got something. And that was that. So we're sitting there, and they're playing music. People are dancing. I'm waiting for my food. And then a band called The Zings takes the stage. And I'm like, oh, what's this? And so she looked it up on Facebook there. And they're a cover band, so I started following them. And Jill was like, oh, you can have them on the show. I was like, well, I would like to, but I don't think I'm allowed to play covers on the podcast. I don't know exactly how that works, and so I'd rather not get in trouble. We could talk about them for sure, but we'll see. So if they write any originals, if you hear from The Zings and they write any original songs, send them my way. How's that? And they were great. They played 80s, 90s stuff, some current stuff. It was really fun. And I feel like that's our speed. If we go to bars or whatever, like, we're not in the thick of it. We're not on the dance floor. We're not in the middle of whatever's going on. Like, we're back here eating and enjoying the performance. And that was our thing. So really fun. Yeah, I finally found my food and it was fine. The chicken tenders were okay. I wasn't, as I always say, I was not hungry anymore after I finished them. How's that? So there you go. So we had a really good time. Had a really good evening on Saturday. It was a late night. You know, we're not used to that, but we handled our business. We had a wonderful time. The movie, The Final Boy, was fantastic. Everybody crushed it. Everybody I got to talk to, that we got to talk to, was super nice. It was so much fun. Congratulations to everybody involved. The movie is great. And I hope that whenever you can see it, stream it, buy it, whatever, that you do that. Because it is a really, really good movie. So go check it out. And that's for me, not a horror guy. Really enjoyed the movie. All right, I had to run up and get some tea. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, movie, great. The Final Boy, check it out. Moving Forward Films. Tell Ian I said hello. And he'll know. Watch all of his other movies. I did. When I had him on the show, I watched all of his movies in like 2 days. Because I procrastinated. Because I was like, oh, yeah, I have time before the interview. And then I didn't. And I watched all of his movies in a day and a half or so, 2 days. And they were all really good. So check them out. Moving Forward Films. Links to the things will be in the show notes. As though, Jesus, not sure what happened there. So that was our Friday, Saturday. Pretty solid, honestly. Had a really good time. Had a great time at the premiere. And, good reason to get out, get dressed up, and do all the things. And so then Sunday, my buddy Phil and I have been best friends for 32 years. We had this idea to do the 999 challenge. And if you are unaware, it is during a baseball game, 9 beers and 9 hot dogs in 9 innings. Now, technically, the challenge is 1 beer and 1 dog per inning. We actually stayed ahead of that pace for a little bit. And then, so we've been talking about this for months. And he called me like 2 weeks ago. He's like, hey, we could do it at this place across the street from across the street from his house. And like where I grew up there, we both grew up there. So I was like, oh, that would be neat. And then I was like, oh, wait, we're going to be kid-free the weekend, and the Phillies are playing a day game on the Sunday. And so I was like, do you want to do it here? Because that would be cheaper and easier for me. And so I was like, oh, do you want to do it here? And I said, Jill told me she can pan fry the hot dogs. And he goes, sounds great. I'll bring the beer. So he comes in on Sunday, and he gets a bullpen session in. He has 1 beer. And so Jill comes home a little bit late. So we're a little behind because she had stuff to do. And it was fine. Like nobody was tracking us but me. And basically the rule was for us, as long as we did 9 beers and 9 dogs before the 9 innings was over, we would consider that done. We had to catch up a little bit with the dogs, but the beers, like, I went into it, I knew, like, I don't even like eating hot dogs. I don't think that, I just don't like them. I never have. I'm not a fan. Maybe I did when I was a kid, but I generally don't like hot dogs, like, at all. So I knew that the toughest part of the challenge was going to be eating 9 hot dogs in any length of time. And with the pitch clock, I feel like this would have been way easier before the pitch clock, when an inning could take like a half hour, just because guys took forever, right? Maybe not a half hour. That's really long. But when the inning would take longer with no pitch clock. And so that really added to the difficulty, I think. And like, it was already going to be tough for me to eat 9 hot dogs in, 2.5 hours or whatever. But I was like, let's go for it. Let's do it. I kept pace for 6 innings. And then the hot dogs. Oh, by the way, part of the challenge is you can't throw up. So you got to do 9 beers, 9 dogs in 9 innings without throwing up. So I was like, all right, let's do this. So we're keeping pace. We're actually ahead. And then we get to the 6th inning, and I'm slowing down. And I think Phil started to slow down too. And I had to tap out on the dogs. It was rough. Like, I started to really, not just like getting full, but I felt terrible. I felt like it was just so, because again, I don't like hot dogs, and I just eaten 6 of them in like an hour and a half or whatever. And very filling, the bread, the dog, very filling, right? And then the 6 beers that I had, or maybe I was ahead of the beers, so I was probably 7 beers. And so I tapped out on the hot dogs. I finished the 9 beers, so I got the challenge mostly completed, but had to tap out on the dogs. It was gross. And somebody, Phil was saying, he was talking to somebody at work, like, oh, you going to the game? And he's like, No. Do you know how much money that is? Like, just the beers alone is more than $200, right? Or whatever it would be, 150, whatever. And the hot dogs are what, 6, 7 a piece? You got to do 9. So, yeah, not great. Not very fiscally responsible. And so I was like, yeah, let's do it here. It's going to be great. And so, yeah, we did it. I made it 6 dogs, 9 beers, and Phil with 1 out to go in the 9th inning. By the way, the Phillies lost 10-3. 1 out to go in the 9th inning. He finished his final dog. And so he did it. Congratulations to you, sir. And yeah, crushed it. It was, it was a little dicey for both of us around the 6th inning. It got dicey for him again in the 8th inning. And then he's like, I'm doing it. I powered through. He let out a nice loud burp. He's like, I got more room. We're doing it. And he finished it out. So congratulations, buddy. And it was great to just hang out with him because we don't get to do that anymore because I, work and kids and all that stuff. So it was really fun to hang out with him. So thank you to my smoking hot wife for making the dogs and for doing the thing. And thanks for Phil for coming down. Thanks for Phil. Yeah. Thanks for Phil. Thanks to Phil for coming down. My gosh. Do I have a frog in my brain there too? Good Lord. Good stuff though. So I know I failed the 999 challenge. We did talk about what if we did it with sliders or like if we did it with burgers, like say like a standard size burger, just bun, meat, cheese, right? If you could do 9 of those, although that's more filling than a hot dog, but for me it would taste better. So that might be more fun. And then Jill suggested sliders, little guys. So 9 sliders, although is that too small? Right? Because a slider is smaller than a hot dog, but it might be more filling, if that makes sense. Does that make any sense to you? Why am I ending it like a weird question? With an upward inflection, like it's a question? Yeah. I wonder, though, if is that a thing we could do? Like 9 burgers would be a lot. That's a lot of bread and a lot of beef. But it would taste better for me. I would prefer trying that to doing hot dogs again. Because we were like, oh yeah, welcome to the first annual. Because we weren't sure we were going to do it again. Who knows? So we'll find out. And we got to play in 64 as well. So I hooked that up, played some No Mercy. It was fantastic. And then the kiddo came home and we got to chill. And I was like, dude, we're just going to hang out for a little bit. Let you sober up so you could drive home, which you did. We both drank water during the thing too. So we were all good to go. And then the kid woke up and was like, oh, Phil's here. He didn't say, oh, Phil's here. But he remembered Phil and was talking to him and having fun. So all in all, man, solid weekend. Solid kid-free weekend. Thanks again to Jen and her crew for taking the boy. He had a lovely time, and we also had a lovely time. Yeah, ice cream, catching up on Jeopardy, sleeping in, movie premiere, 999 challenge. What a packed weekend, and I'm paying for it today. I am. It's Tuesday, so you'd think I would have felt this on Monday, but I am paying for it today, I think. I am paying for having fun. I think that's what happened here, and I spent a lot of money. But anyway, we had a great time. We had a great time this weekend. So I hope that this is sufficient for an episode of the show because we got I woke up today, frog in the old throat, took the boy to school and was like, oh God, how am I going to do 2 episodes of the show? Because I got to do one for November 1st. And so we'll see. We will see if we can get that done today. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to do our best. We're going to do our goddamn best. So one more thing before we go. So many tracks. I keep hitting the space bar instead of P to pause, and space bar stops it, and we got to start a new one. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. It's not for you. It's not going to be one track when we're done. It's fine. So, like I said at the top, yesterday, if you listen when this comes out, September 20, yesterday was 10 years to the day of episode 1 of this show, which seems insane. When I started this, so I started this show, my friend Adam Gorey said, hey, we got some space on the network. At the time, it was the Next Level Network. And said, hey, do you want to come on? We'll set up a chat with me and with Ben Beck, and we'll try to get you on the show. And so I said, we'll try to get you on the network. You can do your show, and we can, you can basically port your show minus the music and do the thing. And so I said, okay. And it was at the time when I was kind of done doing the live show. And because I had lost my biggest ally who was on the board there at the bigwigs had left. And so I was like, all right. And there were a couple of instances where I was like, I don't think I can work with these people anymore. Just the way things were going and the direction it was going, I didn't want to be a part of it anymore. So I was like, okay, let's figure this out. So I chat with Adam and Ben. Ben says, yep, let's do it. You'll just have to, not do the music. And then, the other podcast on the network does this. So maybe stay away from that if you can. I said, okay, no problem. So I get started, or I get ready to start. And by the way, I had no idea how to run a podcast. Had no idea how much work this was going to be, and no idea how hard it was going to be at the beginning. Because just things I didn't know. How to level out audio, how to, send it over. I didn't post it at the time. I would send it to Adam and he would post it. And having to, not realizing I could do it record on a separate day and have it ready and edit when I had time. I didn't figure that out for a long time. And so apologies to my wife, because I spent all day on several Saturdays, months in a row, recording and editing the show, not knowing what I was doing. They sound rough. I did not know how to do the thing properly. At least now it sounds like the audio quality is higher. So you might not love the content, but the audio quality sounds much better. So I am grateful for that. And so I end the live show, basically take a week off, and then, although we still did another thing, and then I start this again 10 years ago. Didn't know what I was doing. Didn't know how to run a show. Like, I knew how to run the Melting Pad because I had already done it for 4 years, but I didn't know how to transition that to a podcast. And so it was, it was an adjustment for sure. And eventually we found our footing, and eventually then we learned that we could play music from independent artists as long as we got permission. And then we started having people on, and I started meeting people, started connecting with artists from all over the country, all over the world. I've met some wonderful people doing this show, and it's been absolutely amazing to be able to do this for you every week. And yeah, even the one year I did an episode every day in November, that was insane. I'll never do that again because I won't have time. And it was a lot of work. Although now, I'm kind of doing it, I got to record pretty much 8 episodes at a time while I'm working at home now to get the other 4 while I'm in the office. So it's not unlike that in terms of I have to record a lot of stuff. So yeah, the change there is going to be a challenge going forward, but we're going to figure it out. We're going to do it together. I mean, geez, I had a Grammy winner on my show. Paul McCoy won a Grammy and was on my podcast. And then the day after that episode dropped, found out my wife was pregnant. And then, we've had so many wonderful conversations. We've played so many awesome tunes on this show, so much great music on the show. We've met a lot of people. I've made a lot of friends, like legit friends from this, even though, you've never met them in person. So what? Technology's great. I've made a lot of friends doing this show, connecting with people from all over, and it has been really fun. It's been challenging sometimes, and still is, when I'm not feeling well or I got to do other stuff with the kid or whatever, so it can get kind of rough. But overall, I've had a lovely time doing this show, and I hope to keep doing it for another 10 years. And I hope next summer or next spring, we can do another live show, because issues with the venue aside, that episode was so much fun to do, and I'm hoping we can iron out those details and figure out how to do that at a different location and do that next summer or next spring for episode 600. Yeah, doing the live show was something I never thought we'd pull off. I never thought we'd be able to get it done. And then, because it took us a very long time to even find a place that would fit what we wanted and what we needed. And again, the venue turned out to stiff us a little bit, but we figured it out. We had a great time doing that episode, and so I'm grateful we did it. And it was a very expensive learning process. So I'm hoping to do it next year for episode 600. So let me know if you want to help out. If you want to be a part of the show, let me know what's what, and we will do our best to accommodate you if we can. We'll see. I don't know. Anyway, we've not ironed out a ton of the details yet, but that is the plan, to do a live show every 100 episodes. So every 2 years, basically, we're going to do a live show. So that's the plan. That's the hope anyway, to get that done. So yeah, I never thought when I started doing this podcast, I didn't even want to interview anybody. Like, a request came when Ariana Savalas years ago released music, and Adam sent me an email like, hey, their PR person said you can play it on the show, and they want to know if you want to interview her. And at the time, I wasn't really thinking to do interviews at all. It was just not a thing I had on my radar. And so I was like, oh, I'll play the song, but I don't really do interviews, because I didn't really know what that would entail, and I wasn't really ready to kind of take that leap yet. So I played the song. I should have interviewed her. That's my one regret about this, is I never talked to Ariana Savalas. I think that would have been really fun to talk to her. But now I think that. I didn't think it at the time. I didn't have that, did not have that thought process. But yeah, I never thought I'd do interviews on this show. And now I've done 50 with various people from various parts of the country and the world. And that the fact that anyone wants to come back on the show after they've been on once is amazing. Like Danny Schmitz has bullied his way on a handful of times. Love you, buddy. Double Identity has been on 4 times. Fry McDunstan from Germany has come on 2 or 3 times. And just, people wanting to come back Thaddeus came back. He was on with another band, and then he came on by himself a couple years ago. And it's crazy. And it's just wild to me that I don't have a huge presence on the internet. I never have. It's never been marketing myself has never been something I've been good at, and it's never been something I really needed or wanted to do. Because this isn't my primary job, thankfully. I'd be broke. Really broke, I mean. So I just never really think of marketing the show. I'm grateful that people have joined my Patreon and give me money every month. I'm grateful that people want more of me, and I'm grateful Jesus, of, to, over, under, through. I'm grateful to anyone and everyone who listens to the show, who answers the questions when we have them, who provides feedback on things that we're doing and saying. Again, I've gotten more fan mail this year than ever, and so I'm grateful for that, for you giving me material. Jimmy from Mayfair, thank you. It's amazing. I love it. I love this show. I hope to never stop doing it. I love it. Well, when it stops being fun, it's when I'll stop doing it. But that, I hope, will not come for a very long time. And so I'm grateful to Adam Gorey and Ben Beck for giving me my platform here. I'm grateful for anyone who has ever come on the show, especially more than once. I'm grateful for any artist who said, yes, play our music on your show. Thank you very much. It might not mean a lot to you, but it means the world to me. So thank you very much for that. And if you've ever listened to the show, even if you listened for 10 minutes and decided you didn't want to listen anymore, that still counts, I guess. And I'm grateful that you took some of your time to spend it with me. So thank you very much. I appreciate you. I'm trying to feel better over here. I'm going to drink more tea and go have lunch. And I think we're going to be fine. So thank you very much. 10 years of the show, 10 years of the podcast, I should say. It's insane. I didn't think we'd get this far because, again, at the beginning, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know if I'd get kicked off or, deplatformed for some reason or another. And I haven't yet. So that's been really fun. Spotify tried, but I told them to shove it. And we're not on there anymore. So there you go. Thank you very much. I am so grateful to all of you for being here. It means a lot. It means a lot. It means that I don't just do this for myself, which is really the primary objective, is that it's for me to do the show. And the fact that anyone is along for the ride is a very wonderful bonus. So that sounds really selfish, I know. But thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much for being along for however long you've been here, for all the feedback, for all the music, for all the stuff, all the suggestions, the questions, the messages, all the stuff. Thank you very much. Let's go for another 10, huh? Let's try it. Shall we? We shall. All right, we're going to go. No music, but please check out G Love and Special Sauce with Cold Beverage, or check out all their stuff at Philadelphonic.com. By the way, thanks to Josh, my brother-in-law, who was on the show a ton back in the day. It was his suggestion. He said, just email them, because I used to play Cold Beverage at the end of the live show and didn't know if I could do it for the regular show, for this. And he's like, just email him, find out. And I sent the guy an email, and he got back to me that day. Yeah, sure, go ahead. So thank you, Josh. All right, there we go. Thank you, everybody. All the people who I'm not going to start listing everybody else because I'll forget people and somebody will get mad. So and then I'll feel bad about that. So there you go. Have I gushed enough? I think we're good. Thank you very much for being here. We'll talk soon. I'm going to try to feel better. TheMeltingPat.com for all my stuff. Contact page, Patreon, newsletter. Everything in there is, everything me is on there. All right? I love you. We'll talk soon. Just don't be... let's do it the right way. This has been an 8-Boiling production. Until next time, my friends, have fun. Be safe. Thank a veteran. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. Get vaccinated and boosted when you can. Tip your wait staff. And, of course, don't do anything I wouldn't do. There we go. We nailed it. We are done. I love you. We'll talk soon. Go crap open a cold one.
Hey, clip.